Shalom, my friends, this is Max Joseph, and I am here because the Oscars are on Sunday. All of the major precursors have officially happened, I guess except for Spirit, but there's no time then. But anyway, that means it is time for the final predictions. To give a quick rundown, the predictions will be a video that will be released on the 1st of every month, except for this video, and will feature my predictions for the upcoming Academy Awards, and obviously we have all of our nominees, so no need to do the next in line or followed by, but get ready for the 94th Academy Award predictions coming soon. But before I go into my predictions, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and ding that little bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. And so, here are my predictions for the 2021 Oscars, Final Edition. Best Picture. It's over. Nomadland has now won Globe, PGA, BAFTA, and Critics' Choice. If you are thinking anything else, you are a very bold individual. However, there was a film very recently that won all 5 of these and still lost, and that was La La Land. And that obviously lost to Moonlight in one of the most memorable moments in the history of the Academy Awards. And the only one that really has a shot of spoiling it is Trial of the Chicago 7. Although Aaron Sorkin missed director, winning SAG Ensemble was really good for it. Especially since it beat out Minari, which was its only competition as far as nominees for Best Picture are concerned. But my friends, do you see how many wins Nomadland has this season? It's up to 40. The second most is Promising Young Woman with 10. Dominance. So unless you are throwing caution to the wind, I think it's very, very smart to go with Nomadland. Best Director. So here's my thing about this category. If it was anyone but Chloe Zhao, it would probably be one of the most shocking upsets ever. Chloe Zhao won DGA. Therefore, it's over. In only 2 instances in the last 15 years has the DGA winner not translated into a win at the Oscars. Granted, one of those 2 was when Bong Joon-ho beat DGA winner Sam Mendes, so it's happened recently, but it wasn't this lopsided. Also, with that DGA win, she becomes the first woman of color to win this award, and the second woman ever to win it. The first was Kathryn Bigelow, who of course went on to make history, and it looks like Chloe Zhao is about to follow in her footsteps. With these wins, it puts her total to 48. The next most, for those nominated, only have 1. My friends, if Chloe Zhao doesn't end up winning this award, it would probably go down as one of the biggest shocks in the history of the Oscars. Because I feel like most of the time there's at least one other nominee where you're like, oh yeah, that would make sense if that happened, but not here. It would not make any sense whatsoever if Chloe Zhao wasn't the winner on Sunday, April 25th. Actress in a leading role. We have a new winner. I just have no clue. If you say you know who is winning this award, no. There is no math to prove that your predicted winner is, like, obviously the front runner. This race is insane, and also the most exciting this thing has ever been, at least since I started, like, really studying the Oscars. Carey Mulligan got Critics' Choice, Andra Day got Globe, Viola Davis got SAG, Frances McDormand got BAFTA. Is Vanessa Kirby gonna win Oscar? Will it be someone different at all 5 ceremonies? It could be. Kirby and McDormand are the only ones to get in everywhere, but I'm gonna go back to what I've been saying for months. I'm going back to my favorite female actor of all time, Viola Davis. And if she does win, she would join a list of only 43 actors to earn 2 or more wins in the acting categories. If McDormand wins, she'll become one of only 6 actors to have 3 or more wins. And let's say it's Carey Mulligan, Andra Day, or Vanessa Kirby, it would be their first wins, on their first tries. Something that is obviously not very common. No matter what happens, this category is so up in the air, it is by far the hardest to predict. So I'm going to go with Viola, and at the same time, I will be thrilled for any of these women, because this lineup is up there for my favorite of all time. All 5 of them would be deserving of this Oscar. All 5 gave winning performances. Actor in a leading role. So it was looking like a sweep until all of a sudden, in comes Anthony Hopkins to win BAFTA. And yeah, that does mean a lot. The last time BAFTA didn't translate into an Oscar was 2013. Before that, 2009. So when you look at that stat alone, it's pretty easy to make the switch. But, even with that stat, and with Anthony Hopkins putting up what I could argue as a career best performance, I don't think it'll be able to top Chadwick Boseman. In fact, I'd even say that I'd be shocked if it wasn't Chadwick. No disrespect to Anthony Hopkins. Both gave some of the best acting I've seen on screen or on stage. Both are deserving. Both could make it happen. But Chadwick is still gonna win this thing. He has enough love. Actress in a supporting role. We have a new winner. Although y'all know I'm Team Maria Bakalova, it is pretty hard to argue with a SAG and BAFTA win. Especially when she was in direct competition with Maria Bakalova in both of those ceremonies. But I'll also say Yoo Jong-yoon is absolutely my second choice and is totally deserving of this win. And assuming she does win, she will probably have one of the greatest acceptance speeches ever. It'll also be historic because she would become only the second Asian woman to win an acting Oscar. What a win it will be. But if there is a shocker, it'll be Maria Bakalova, actor in a supporting role. This is the only acting category that is set in stone. After Anthony Hopkins won BAFTA, that left Daniel Kaluuya as the only remaining actor who swept the season. He took home Globe, SAG, BAFTA, and Critics' Choice. There honestly isn't too much else to say about it. If Daniel Kaluuya somehow doesn't win, it would end up being one of the biggest shocks in this category in quite a while. And when he wins on Sunday, he will become only the 5th black male to win in this category. History will be made, and it will be an incredible moment. Original screenplay. This is going to be a big one. All signs are pointing to Promising Young Woman winning it. The only upset I can actually see happening would be Chicago 7. It's my number 2 in picture, and Sorkin did win the Globe. The only big one that Emerald Fennell didn't win. And I'll add, if Aaron Sorkin pulls off the upset here, the Best Picture race gets a lot more interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is, of course, possible. But I'm counting on Emerald Fennell winning for Promising Young Woman. Adapted screenplay. Nomadland versus The Father. It's really just between those two. And it's unfortunate that they weren't eligible for WGA because if they were, I think our winner would be one of those two. Alas, that went to Borat. Not mad. But I'm gonna stick with the Oscar frontrunner. I'm gonna stick with Chloe Zhao taking home her 3rd Oscar on Sunday night. Animated feature. It won Globe, BAFTA, PGA, Annie, VES, Critics' Choice, and made AFI top 10 films. If all of that doesn't equal an Oscar, then I don't know what does. So unless something absolutely bonkers happens, Pixar will take home its 11th win in this category. To put that into perspective, the animated feature category is 20 years old, so Pixar has won this award 50% of the actual award's existence. Don't bet against Pixar. Also, it has 2 films in this category, a new milestone for Pixar. This is very much like Best Director. If you're not predicting Chloe Zhao for Director and Soul in Animated, you are a much braver individual than I am, and I wish you the best of luck. Cinematography. All of a sudden, we have a race? It looked like it was gonna be Nomadland till the end, but then out of nowhere, ASC gave it to Eric Messerschmitt's Mank. But even though that is huge, Nomadland just has way more momentum at the moment. It also has 35 wins this season compared to Mank's 5. But that ASC win does hold quite a punch. If you look at ASC and compare it to the Oscars, it's not that helpful because it's 5 that matched up and it's also 5 that didn't. So if we look at BAFTA, it's a little bit more telling. Only 2 times did the BAFTAs not line up with the Oscars. So with that, I think that gives me enough. Plus having the 35 wins total this season, that is enough to put Nomadland as my winner. Production design. Nostalgia. Nostalgia. It's just a thing. Like I have been saying for so many months, Mank is winning this. 'Tis done. Won Critics, ADG, BAFTA, it's over. Also, there's a very strong possibility that this is Mank's one and only win of the night. And if that happens, according to Eric Anderson of Awards Watch, which you should definitely check out, www.awardswatch.com. Also follow Eric at Awards Watch on Twitter and all social media. You'd have to go back to 1978's Heaven Can Wait to find a Best Picture nominee whose only win was production design. So if this happens, Mank will join that list. Costume design. It looks like this is over too. Ma Rainey taking home CDG. It has officially swept the season. Mulan is the only other film to win a CDG. And you know the last film to sweep? Mad Max Fury Road. And that, of course, went on to win the Oscar and like 19 other ones, but the big difference was that it was also nominated for Best Picture. But shout out to soon-to-be two-time Oscar winner Anne Roth. What a legend. Film editing. So a lot of people have been asking me about this one because it has turned into one of the most exciting races of the season. When Chicago 7 and Sound of Metal tied at Critics' Choice, we knew it was going to be something good. And since then, it really hasn't been made any easier. It hasn't been made any clearer. Chicago 7 has Ace in Critics' Choice. Sound of Metal has BAFTA in Critics' Choice. So what do you go with? Well, flip a coin. My coin landed on Chicago 7, but it makes me nervous. It is very rare for a film to just win film editing. Since the category was first introduced in 1934, there have only been 8 times where a film's only win was for film editing. And I know it's dangerous, but I just don't see Trial of the Chicago 7 walking home winless. We also said that last year with The Irishman, so, here we are. So I do think that this list will go up to 9, and this will be Chicago 7's only win on the night. But if you go Sound of Metal, I think that is a very smart move. I'll be thrilled for both of them. Both have unbelievable editing. Makeup and hairstyling. Ma Rainey is clearly the favorite. It's won everything, and it's beat its competition while doing it. Pinocchio is the only other film to win a major precursor. And then something interesting here, with Ma Rainey winning its 4th Oscar on the night, it will make history because no film has been able to win more than 2 Oscars without a Best Picture nomination since the preferential ballot was brought back in 2009. In fact, there have only been 12 films since 1980 to win 3 or more Oscars without a Best Picture nomination. Thank you for that stat, Matt Neglia of Next Best Picture. You should go to their website, www.nextbestpicture.com, and follow them on Twitter at NextBestPicture. Sound. Just sound. Yes, Greyhound won MPSE, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. That's the only big win that it has. I get wanting to switch your pick, but I'm going to say to hold steady on Sound of Metal. That's the only big thing Greyhound has. I'm actually making the argument that Soul could be more of a threat than Greyhound. And although I may want Soul to win, it would be a big leap over Sound of Metal. And only one animated film has ever won a Sound Award, and that was The Incredibles in 2005 when it won Sound Editing. But if Soul somehow won this award, it would become the most winning animated film in the history of the Oscars, assuming it wins, of course, animated feature and score. That would bring its grand total up to 3. 3 wins for an animated film. Let's see it happen. But long story short, it's gonna go to Sound of Metal. Visual effects. So here's where I'm at. Tenet has BAFTA and Critics' Choice. Midnight Sky has the big VES award. Tenet has a majority of the precursor wins. This is also the only nomination for everything except Tenet and Mulan. And it isn't often a film wins visual effects as its sole nomination. In the last decade, there has only been one visual effects winner to have their only nomination be in visual effects, and that was 2017's The Jungle Book. You'd have to go all the way back to 1993's Death Becomes Her to find the last time a film's one and only nomination and win was for visual effects. So although Midnight Sky has a shot, it'll still be somewhat of a shock to see it top Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Also, if Tenet does win, it'll be the 3rd win for a Nolan film since 2011. Original score, y'all. It looks like this is going to Soul. And if it isn't Soul, I will scream. The only one I will be okay with winning that isn't Soul is Minari. But look, in all seriousness, Soul has 33 wins, including Globe, BAFTA, HMMA, SCL, and Critics' Choice. Mank has the second most with 3. Soul should win this with ease. And like I mentioned last month, it will become one of only 6 animated films to win more than 1 Oscar. And like I said just a minute ago, if it somehow wins animated feature and sound and score, it will become the first animated feature to win 3 Oscars. Original song. It comes down to Diane Warren. Because let's be honest, it is ridiculous that Diane Warren hasn't won an Oscar yet. And I don't think it's gonna change this year. One of the reasons is because I do believe Speak Now is better. But also, when the Academy votes, this is very important, when the Academy votes, they aren't shown who wrote the songs. And I have a feeling a lot of people who vote don't know who wrote what. They just know the song in the film, hopefully. And the thing EOC has going for it is that it did win the Globe. And that's matched up 6 times in the last decade. but I do think ultimately we're gonna start the decade with the two not matching. Another thing Speak Now has going for it is that if you saw One Night in Miami, you know who sang it. It's Leslie Odom Jr., and Leslie Odom Jr. has been a presenter at like every single ceremony recently. The man is non-stop. See what I did there? Also, shout out to Husavik because it's the only one of the 5 nominees to be sung in the film. I know it shouldn't bother me, but it's always bothered me a bit when songs are nominated for original song, but are featured in the credits, not in the film while the story is being told. Doesn't take away from anything. I just always prefer that. International feature film. This is very clear. If the directing nomination for Thomas Vinterberg wasn't enough, I got my confirmation with its BAFTA win. But what I want to remind people of is that you should watch films from other countries spoken in other languages because your eyes are going to open up to so much more. Anyway, gotta be another round. Anything else would be shocking. Documentary feature. All of a sudden, My Octopus Teacher is the favorite. By a lot. The Netflix documentary is officially the one to beat after taking home the BAFTA and PGA. I also do think it helps that specifically in this category, having easy access to films are just so important. But PGA hasn't had the best track record with docs recently. The last time the winner there translated into an Oscar was 2016 with OJ Made in America. It's happened 3 times that PGA went on to win Oscar. But then you add in BAFTA, and it's pretty hard to argue its dominance after that. Although I do think Time could pull the upset, it looks like the winner is My Octopus Teacher. Animated short film. So when making your predictions, especially this year, your ballots may come down to these 3 short categories. All the other categories, for the most part, seem pretty locked universally, except for a handful like actress in a leading role, film editing, and sound. I'm probably forgetting like one other, but the ones that will really put someone on top are these 3. So my advice, go with your gut. And that's what I'm going to do here. Also, if Anything Happens I Love You doesn't win, I will straight up lose my mind. And if you follow them on social, they are crushing it right now. They are bringing in Laura Dern just in time for voting and are clearly campaigning hard. The only other possibility, I think, is Burrow. Pixar is a favorite in this category as it's won this award 5 times, but I think the film to beat is If Anything Happens, I Love You. Live action short film. This one is totally up in the air. You have Oscar Isaac in The Letter Room, you have The Present, which just won the BAFTA, and then you have my favorite, Two Distant Strangers, which is so incredibly timely and vital and amazing. Those are the 3 I think are fighting for the win, but again, go with your gut. I'm sticking with my favorite, Two Distant Strangers. But I do think you could make an argument for all 5 of these nominees. Documentary, short subject. My brain says A Concerto is a Conversation, but my heart says Colette. And although I'm being hypocritical, I'm just gonna go with my heart. I'm gonna go with Colette. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm gonna go with the one that hit me the hardest. But if you want to play it smart, probably go for A Concerto as a Conversation. But like I said at the beginning of the month, I find this to be the hardest category to predict out of the 3 shorts. So pick your favorite, and I support you. Those are my final predictions for the 93rd Academy Awards. Let me know what you have predicted in the comments. Agree? Disagree? Let me know.